Okay, I'm interested to find. I want to know what is going on there because where are we? Badger is another one that's doing a Uni Swap style airdrop, and it's very very cool. I mean, this retro theme. For those of you that are Nintendo 64 kids like I was, this is a Star Fox theme, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, I played so many hours of this game as a kid. Megazord. I just love it. I just love the retro 90s arcade themes that they're going with here. This is another yield farming, absolute, the degen style apps. Let's wait and see if they're actually going to be any different to a lot of the others out there. But they are already teaming up with Cover, so you can get coverage for their smart contracts. There's a lot to like about them, but at the moment, I wouldn't be chucking in any money in terms of investing. But here is a list of all the people that qualified for this airdrop, and it's a few $100s again. So it's a little bit like the Uniswap airdrop. And I was pleasantly surprised this morning when as you guys know, I have a lot of addresses. And if you've done any of these things, then you qualified for this airdrop of a few $100s worth of Badger. So I can't even. I'm trying to look through and work out which of them I would have done with which addresses. It's not as simple as just doing a transaction on Uniswap, which a lot of you would have done. Hopefully, hey, donate to Git Coin. There you go. There's another good one, which I'll bring up now. So this is what I've been talking about in terms of just like karma. We'll go back and look at the price in just a second for all of you that are tuning in, and I'll try and get through some comments in a second. This is our Git Coin Grant. So if you come over and donate at the moment, if you donate $1, the pool of funds from Gitcoin and all the other teams that donate money will actually give us $10. So last time around, we were one of the smaller, least donated to media companies, even though we're actually the biggest Ethereum channel. So out of all the YouTubers, there's plenty that are bigger than us, but we're probably the biggest one that is majority focused on Ethereum. As you guys know, pretty much everything we do relates back to Ethereum or DeFi, gaming, NFTs, even our Bitcoin coverage. There's wrapped Bitcoin now. So finance, economics, even housing stuff. We're tokenizing houses. I just think Ethereum is going to overtake that financial system and every aspect of it. So 90% of what we do is Ethereum. So I really want to knuckle down and get that message across this time around. And if you can, guys, head over to Gitcoin, or you need to have a GitHub account. So that's just, create a username and password, head over to Gitcoin Grants. I think the link's normally down below. If you can spare $1, if you can spare $10, it'll give us $27 matching. So this is a really cool concept, quadratic funding. And some of the bigger channels got, I think, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 donated to them, and that got matched with $40,000 or $50,000. Now, if we can get something like that, I can put on another researcher just solely dedicated to finding, the latest hidden gems in the yield farming space. We might create another newsletter, for example, solely called, the alpha. What are the newest of the new? And that's kind of what you want to let the community know, what you want to put the money towards. So I think last time around we were just trying to get some funding for our monthly Ethereum update, and that's been great to get some money to pay a junior researcher to help us out there. But when I saw how big some of these other state medias are and how much money they were getting, and the pool of funds is enormous this time. You've got the Ethereum Foundation, but then you've got a lot of these others like Binance and Kraken, Synthetics and Chainlink. These really wealthy projects are diving in, and it is so cool. Head over here and check it out. I donated to about 100 projects personally last time, because you can go through this list and see what dApps are cool. oh, here's a little project that's building a nice scaling wallet with Raiden. I want to support them and donate a few dollars to their way, and that few dollars turns into $50 because they're matching. Donate to all your favorite media channels, projects. You might head in here and find that, oh, I didn't know Chainlink were working on that. They're saying that if they can get $1,000 of funding, they're going to bring out that feature. So there are just so many cool little things out here that you can fund. Matic, $50,000 matching grants. People will actually create things that they want created for them. So people will go the other way around and say, hey, if someone can build this for us, we'll give them $1,000, rather than people saying, I'm working on this project, I'm trying to get funded. So highly recommend heading over there, checking it all out. If you can spare $1 or $2, guys, hit us up. We want to be the largest Ethereum focused channel in the world. Alrighty, so that is Gitcoin for you. And how did we get onto that? We were talking about Badger and the different ways that you will claim and get that airdrop. So what was the Uni Swap airdrop from memory? Was it $400, 400 Uni tokens, which was worth $1,200, wasn't it? So this one's only popped up in the past 24, 48 hours that I heard of, badger.finance. So you can head over there, connect your wallet the same as you do with all your MetaMask, click on Hunt, and if you've qualified, it'll just flash up here saying claim, and then you just claim your tokens. At the moment, you get 40 something tokens and they're worth $5 each. So yeah, a couple of $100 US, $300 Australian ish, free money. So there's another one going around at the moment that someone told me about, but that's a lot small. That's only $5 or $10, I think. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to have a quick look through the comments here. There are websites dedicated to airdrops, but I mean, you've just got to be really careful with the scam ones. Try and stick to ones that have partnered with legit projects. Like when I see Badger partnering with Cover and talking about integrating with Yearn and those sort of things, makes me a little bit more confident. But I still wouldn't put money in something like this. But I'm just telling you guys how you can claim your free money. Here is the daily chart. This is where we kind of broke down and lost that parabola. And okay, so this is something I want to explain. Yesterday in the group I did a write-up and I spoke about how whales will sometimes push the price around to grab liquidity. And someone said, well, what does that mean? So I want to explain that now. When we have all eyes on certain parabolas and shapes and whatnot, when everyone on Twitter is talking about a head and shoulders pattern, for example, well, often they don't play out if everyone is talking about them because everyone has already positioned their account. So if you think a head and shoulders pattern is about to break down, for example, and everyone is aware of it and everyone's gone short, well, who is left to, sell and push the market down all the way lower for that pattern to play out? And that's similar with the parabolas that we're watching at the moment. So we did lose the very first of our very steep sort of run-ups that we've had just recently here. Let's adjust this on the 4-hour chart. So, something like this, you can kind of see that the first big bloody spill candle there was when we lost that. Often they'll kind of get this bounce back up to test around that area. A little perfect little bear flag and break down again. So this is looking a little bit different. What you want to see if we want to get a bottom is a nice hammer with 25, 23 minutes left. Okay looking volume. If that volume finishes like right up here, we get a nice long wick. They're the sort of times that you can be a little bit more positive that we might be forming a bottom. But I guess what I want to mention as well is that I don't think that it's panic stations by any means. I don't think we're necessarily going to have this big correction that some people are still expecting down to like 14K. I think what we had this week was super healthy in terms of, a really, really harsh pullback to clean out a lot of leverage longs. We then climbed back up. We can see it in the data. There's still a lot of newbies that are leverage long. So you could see that very much here. What we've got down the bottom here. This is the premium that people are paying on. Well, this is BitMEX, but it's similar across the leveraged exchanges. The premium that they're willing to pay over spot and the funding rate. So at the moment, the funding rate is, let's call it 0.17. And that means that people are paying that funding rate to go margin long, to borrow those coins. And very quickly, that jumped right back up here. So if you see here, right when we were peaking, right near the top, people weren't desperate to go long down here, or these periods here when it's kind of flat. People always tend to wait until we've had a massive run to get margin long. And what happens? They get shaken out of their positions. And tying this all together, what we can sometimes see with this drop that we've just had, the funding didn't quite flip, but the premium did. So funding dropped right off and the premium's gone a little bit negative, and that's kind of telling you that traders are expecting price to be lower in future, as a simple way of understanding that. But the market is just so reactionary at the moment. And I don't think that we do have these conditions where things are going to get really nasty, 14K, and everyone can buy up. I think it's far more likely that we're going to continue to chop around a bit, but probably have a crack at that all-time high. Now, that's prefaced by saying what the stock market does, but the stock market's at record highs. Look at that. That is the record high close. Man, oh man. And this is, I honestly think that we are about to have a pretty nasty correction in US markets. Unless the markets get a stupid amount of stimulus that they've been kind of holding everyone hostage for. Or maybe they don't get that and that they plunge the markets, and that's when the Fed and the government step in and have to print a fortune to keep the markets happy. But at the moment, if you look at the COVID hospital rates and deaths and all that, it's back to like record highs in America, and none of that is getting priced in at the moment. I think we read again today something like the majority of small business funding help went to large businesses in America. It's just a real worry what is going on there in terms of the middle class and all those businesses that are about to be lost. Gold had a pretty good week, better than Bitcoin, but would you expect it to maybe be a little bit stronger when the US dollar has just collapsed? I mean, it's had a pretty good week, I guess, but let's not be too greedy. 4 or 5% for a multi-trillion-dollar market, and silver would have had double that, 10%. The stock market has closed now, hasn't it, for the weekend? Yes. That's not an ideal candle. If we open up on Monday way down here, that becomes not very pretty. So that's kind of what I've got in the back of my head. If things start to get really nasty on global markets, then I think crypto is still going to get affected. But for the time being, whales, if they know that everyone is watching these patterns, whether it's this rising wedge, triangle, some people had this drawn differently. Once we break that key line though, a lot of the whales will set their orders here or even here on the next leg down, and they'll wait for a lot of people to get bearish. We're starting to see that reflected here. Into the weekend, people say, we didn't get 20K, it's going to go back to 14, I'll sell my coins. And sometimes whales will just be sitting there waiting to catch all those people that are fearful and dumping their coins. And the market can have a quick reversal because of all those people that are basically waiting to buy. And then we just continue grinding higher, and that really frustrates everyone because it's a kind of no man's land pattern. I know, it's so frustrating. Just we love those trending markets like we had the other day. And there's been some great altcoins. A lot of the DeFi projects have been smashing it this week. Wi-Fi, people telling me that Wi-Fi is dead. It's 7,500 it bottomed at. What's that? 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, it's up 330% to back over $30,000. And the other one was sushi, wasn't it? So still a long way to go from these lofty heights that are pumped to initially, but from 50 cents back up here again 300% as people realize that sushi's doing about a third, quarter of the volume of Uni Swap, and people just think it's a bit of a joke, a scam because of what happened before. All right, I'll take a quick look at the questions and comments. If everyone's playing nice. Yes, fresh trim. I got some sleep and I got a haircut. For those of you that didn't hear, I fell asleep in our member-only live stream on Thursday night. I had one of those, nod-offs, and then you wake yourself back up and think, oh, did I just fall asleep? And that day I had 4 interviews. So I had Marika Tusa with our monthly mining, Will from the mining store, 1 in the morning, a video meeting, and Louis had been sick, so he's had a virus all week, poor fella. So that means sleepless nights as well for us. And it was 8:30, I felt so tired, and it was 9 o'clock we have these, or was scheduled for 8 o'clock, and then I had technical difficulty, and then it was 9 o'clock by the time I did this video. I read through all my stuff, and then I started reading the questions, and guys, you must have had boring questions, because reading through these questions and then nodded off. So that was a new first. I'm not sure how many YouTubers have ever done that either. But there you go. Working too hard. I'm going to take some time off, refresh. Had plenty of sleep last night. Got a haircut. Yes. That's the plan. One thing I do want to mention while you guys get all your questions ready. NFT ready to go for Decentraland. Yeah, that's what I'll talk about in a second. I don't think it's a bad morning to buy the dip. I'm just going to wait and see if we push it down. But I think if they can push this down lower, I think we are going to have a bit of a snapback. I don't think it's just going to go to 14K like people are expecting, nice and easy. $400 worth of badger you got. Okay. Nice. Hello from New York City, Bennett. How you going, mate? Definitely wise to hodl through. Yeah, it's so funny how many people are trying to time the market, and you're just going to get chopped up at the moment. They're coming in thick and fast now, the questions. How do we find out the jobs we've got going at Nuggets News? You got to keep an eye on LinkedIn, but we've already hired again lately. The hypocrisy of crypto YouTubers is amazing. They keep talking about crappy shit projects, but selectively block others. I talk about a wide range of projects. You mentioned catching up with members, and if we did a national tour, we'd catch up with everyone and make sure that was free. Yeah, let's wait till all the borders are open and hopefully we get a bull market. Let's do that next year. Can I explain outflow and inflow on Glassnode? Yep, I can do that. I like Legend Nano X. Watch the tutorial if you're going to get a hardware wallet. Look, I want to build a DeFi index, and I want to build a gaming index, and I want to build a Web3 index with a few of these projects that are letting people build indexes and Pi DAOs and that sort of thing. So I'm in those conversations now. It would be awesome to have those. CoinSpot took down those indexes we had. They'd performed exceptionally well, up hundreds of percent. But people thought that they were like actively managed or something, and all of a sudden we're getting overrun with emails. Talk about Hex going to $1. I don't think Hex is going to $1. You guys know I don't like that. Indicator at the bottom of the screen. This one is called BitMEX Funding by Neo Butane, if you search for it. Yeah, MicroStrategy bought another 50 million. Here it is. Average price. So they're just averaging in. I mean, that is awesome. That gives people a lot of confidence that, oh, is it too late to buy? Hey, we just bought another 50 million worth. So obviously we think it's going a lot higher. So the Decentraland tickets, I'll mention these in a second as well. How many of you have had a play around in Decentraland? Hopefully all of you by now. It's very easy to do. I don't think you even need MetaMask installed. But you want to have MetaMask installed for future. What I think of RenBridge, I like the RenBridge. They're the guys that do Ren BTC. So it's a decentralized way to do Bitcoin on Ethereum. Yeah, I like Uniswap token. It's the same. You know, I like having a mix. If you like Uniswap and SushiSwap, you can just own a little bit of both because that's where all the money is and all the fees at the moment. You know, they're doing more trading volume than Coinbase. It's just incredible. First home buyers, man, it's an awkward position to be in because markets are probably going to keep going up as long as this QE starts. I mean, let's have a look at the Aussie stock market. I haven't checked it, but I assume that, you know, since the QE started, it's just been pumping. Yeah. When did they announce that? A couple of weeks ago. So house prices, they're saying at this pace, are going to be back to normal by February, which is 2 months away. So average house prices in Sydney and Melbourne are going to be back to $1 million. Now, is that a good thing? I don't think so. Wages aren't growing. Youth unemployment, 12%. And house prices are going up. How does that help anyone that's young and trying to buy a house? Not at all. So you wanted to have a look at exchange flows. So net volume. Let's just have a look at inflow and outflow separately. So exchange outflow, this is in terms of the volume, number of Bitcoin. Let's zoom right into current data if it's going to be nice enough to share that with us. So basically this is showing you the number of coins that are going into exchanges. From exchanges, sorry. So here you can see when we have a dip, a lot of coins got sent out of exchanges, from exchanges. Now, that's been pretty steady throughout this whole run. The number of coins on exchanges as well has been dropping. So can we look at exchange deposits? Does that show that nicely? Transfers to exchanges, relatively flat. Exchange inflow, people depositing to exchanges. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see that behind me, but this is the one we want. So this is the coins that are going into exchanges here in orange, and that's kind of been dropping. Now, just recently, it's gone up a little bit compared to where it was. So this is, I don't have the latest data. Oh yeah, December 3rd. So this is kind of why I'm neutral. There's not a huge amount of coins going in or out of exchanges. The whales aren't doing anything too significant one way or another. The other day there was a big sell wall on Binance. So it's just these little things that are kind of keeping us in a range and chopping everyone up at the moment. Nexus Mutual announced cover for CFI, for centralized finance. This was massive news. So I do like Cover, who are a big competitor for Nexus Mutual, but the space is so small and early, it's, you're not really competing for too much limited market share. Custom Cover is now live. So if you're using your Celsius, BlockFi's, whatever, Nexo, you can now get Nexus Mutual to provide cover for you. I just love the expansion and lateral thinking with what they're doing there. Very smart team. Did I see OMG pump last night? No, I know they've been talking a lot about their central bank pump and dump. I know they've been talking a lot. I guess the market's had a bit of a spill, hasn't it? They've been talking a lot about building a layer for central banks to use their central bank digital currencies. Today, Genesis Block acquires OMG Network. We'll work together and grow the ecosystem and accelerate OMG. That is awesome. Improving liquidity on Uni Swap and Sushi Swap. So OMG have added liquidity provider rewards. And this is what I'm talking about here, the central bank digital currency that they think their plasma scaling is the best thing for. Genesis Block, I thought I was following them. So Bitcoin Center and OTC Trading Desk, this is going to be perfect for them to send different coins around between their different businesses and OTC brokers and whatnot. So that's where they were going to integrate Plasma, just like Plasma's been integrated with Bitfinex. Any comments on RFox? I think that got added to TradingView. Only on the one market there. Charts. Cohorts. No, charts. And other thing I do want to mention, so this is the first sneak peek of our new headquarters. So you walk in, guys. This is the first drafts that we've been given. So I've hired a whole dev team that is specialized in Decentraland and on priority, ASAP job. I want to try and have this done by the end of the year. So it's been pretty expensive, as you can imagine, but they are telling me that they are going to have it done in the coming weeks. So it's going to have a massive viewing room so you can watch, things like the Ethereum documentary, which is out. It's going to be a smart building. So when you walk in, for example, there might be a kiosk or like a welcome desk. And if you own one of these NFTs that we're selling, so I think there's 73 left. So these are going for 1 ETH each, but they're evergreen. So this gets you access to all our premium exclusive events from now on. And you can resell it as well if you like on the market. But basically, when you head over to the building, the smart building will detect that you're there for, say, the launch party, and it might beam you up to the top story, to the penthouse or the outlook or whatever we've built, and it knows that you've got access to that. So you can start to build in some really cool features and upgrade those features. The center itself, I want it to look something like this from the outside. So the Nintendo 64 inspired theme. I want to have big glass windows so people can look inside. And inside, I want it to be like a community center. So it's free to use. We'll have our tutorials playing. So you might have a heap of noobs watching, someone give a class or talk about how to use the Ledger or MetaMask. and we might do, the beginner's corner or beginner's lesson, and I'll be there teaching something in virtual reality one night a week. People might want to have business meetings and book crypto business meetings in private rooms. We might have a gaming area, and then we'll just have, a casual sort of bar style for people to meet up. I just think the possibilities are endless, and you can make the building on the inside look very different to the outside, like altogether, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a computer or a game where I've heard rumors about, Binance or Grayscale. They're all doing some huge buildings there, and they might look like the big Binance logo from the outside, but when you hop in, it'll be, just like a normal square building. So you can really play around with the dimensions and graphics and all that stuff. So I'm just so excited for this. I think it's going to be awesome. I think just Decentraland in general, I'm so bullish on the idea of virtual reality and having virtual business meetings, virtual sports, and you guys probably know that by now as well. What were we doing? We're having a look at RFox. Oh, the chart doesn't work, remember, because of it doesn't allow for the split. So you've got to times this by 10. So the real price is up here somewhere around 17 cents. So it's had a monster run from back there. It's still up, I think, thousands of percent since we did that first interview with Benny. I think that if you read all their announcements, they've got plenty of stuff coming. So just be patient. Altcoins have had a little bit of a glimpse of, outperforming, having a bit of a run, having a bit of a pullback. But I feel just like to the end of the year, maybe Bitcoin's going to range, and that's going to be awesome for altcoins. But there's plenty to be bullish about. So don't worry too much. Funniest moment ever. I'm glad. Glad it was funny for you guys. I don't know about Trump winning these election fraud cases. I mean, I see some of this stuff. I miss others. I don't want to get into politics. If people adopt ADA as ETH become obsolete, I mean, there's tens of thousands of people using ETH. I don't think it just becomes obsolete. But I am looking forward to seeing what Cardano can make. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to mute a few of these people here. So when something pumps, you definitely take your profits. You don't have to hold the whole ups and downs. If you've made good money, you can always sell. Geez, there's some naughty people in the chat today, isn't there? So the ETH2 and staking, yes, got the video and the research ready to go there. There's about 4 or 5 different options now for the average investor, which is going to be cool. There's a cap of 100 of those NFT tickets, but we'll do other events. We'll do free events and whatnot. It's just a lot of people, when we went around on the national tour or when we did member meetups, a lot of people really enjoyed having like a private dinner, and they're happy to pay for a ticket to get. We did one the other night, and we had 2 groups of 10, and it was just awesome. It was awesome fun to talk to people. It's a group of 10, but it's still pretty much like a one-on-one environment for them to ask me questions. And I think we're gonna, on that night, we'll get a panel discussion about the things that we're bullish on for 2021. DeFi, Web3, NFTs, DAOs, try and get some panelists and talk about all those things. So, yeah, we want to try and give you guys value as well. But considering how expensive this operation was, I thought it would be a good, a good compromise, a win-win-win. Is there a good website resource that covers a lot of altcoins? Well, we're trying to do research on all of the altcoins and build out our research platform. But yeah, it's not, there's not really a one-stop shop where you can just go and research every single project. That's why we're trying to build it, to be honest. So head over to the Nuggets News website and then go to Collective Shift. I mean, that's the age-old question, isn't it? A lot of people say, hey, why didn't you sell all your Bitcoin at 20K and then buy it all back at 3K? But it is not that easy, as you guys know, by any stretch of the imagination. If it was, everyone would be rich. But plenty of people sold way too early and they didn't get to go up here. And people sold way too late. So if you're in it for the long term, you hodl and you sell, if you have to. Because I think the place that we're going, when Bitcoin becomes a reserve currency, it'll be like having $1 million of US dollars. It might go up or down 10 or 20% a year, but you've got the most premium, or like having a heap of gold. You don't try and sell it unless you're a trader and a speculator, or unless it gets you to your goal of your house. The official numbers came in, and I think the US have printed 25% more money now this year. So every year, if Bitcoin's 100K, it's probably going to 125K the next year. And then 25% on top of that, again, what's that? A little bit more than 150K. So it's just ridiculous how much money even the world reserve currency is printing. The Aussie dollar, we're printing 100 billion in QE in 6 months. Monetary madness. And yeah, if you're a member, I'll put a link in the group yesterday. There's a link because you should get the unlockable content when you purchase this with more instructions. If you can't follow that, I'll share a link in the group and that'll have more details of the group and we'll finalize the dates, the times, all that sort of thing as well. I love the fact that Michael Saylor's bought more. I can't believe he's bought another 50 million at 19,500. He obviously doesn't think a pullback is coming. Keeper project. I really like Keeper project. When is Melon changing to Enzyme? I like Melon as well and their funds that they do. We're seeing a lot of this on-chain indexes, wealth management, hedge funds just deploy a strategy. I just cannot wait until we have more products. So I got asked to be part of one the other day. Was it Hedgic? No, D-Hedge, to create my own fund, but they only had a limited number of products at the moment. And I said, well, I don't really see myself getting a lot of alpha or outperformance if you've only got sort of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and inverse Tron or a few things. I've pitched to all of these different DeFi projects. If you can give me free reign to create a basket of DeFi, decentralized web, Web3, gaming, and DAOs, I want to create those 4 indexes. That's the sort of things that I want exposure to. I think that'd be so popular as well. Melon integrates synthetics. It's just how good is it just to see all these top tier blue chip cryptos all integrating with one another? They're all at that point where they're just about to scale, and then things I think can really take off. Hey from America. Jay Gatsby won. Found Nuggets News on Real Vision. Awesome. I don't stake Nexus Mutual. Not at the moment. There's just so much on, I get pulled in a million different directions. I can't do it all. Let's have a look at the Keeper project. So there's 2 Keeper projects. There's this one, Keeper DAO. And the idea here is that they kind of take responsibility for a lot of these liquidations. So on Black Thursday, when Maker had all their liquidations and the market froze up, you kind of have these keepers which backstop and prevent that from happening, and they'll basically protect a lot of that market and liquidity. And I think this is a super, super valuable concept. Is that the same token? Is it K3? It's something weird, isn't it? K3. Let's have a look. Keeper network. Thought I was following them as well. Oh, so this is a project that coordinates the other keepers, does it? Okay. Yes. Well, I think that's the little one's home, which means I'm going to wrap up. Polkadot. Hey, I do. Polkadot is... Oh, there's Henry barking, guys. So that is time to wrap up. But I definitely plan on covering Polkadot and that ecosystem more. In our research, the research team have been given the instructions that we do want to focus on that more in our research reports for sure. So, guys, head over, get your ticket to the launch party. They are selling out fast if you're planning on coming. I'll make sure that link is in the description down below. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. Let's see if we can have a bit of an alt season here. And I'm going to go get the door. I think the postman's here. The dog's barking. It's all happening.